financially mostly, from what I see. 'Cause, you know, it's all about, everybody wants to be a big shot, but they gotta pay the price. You know, they have to know how to handle defeat.
If I'm not mistaken, a 92-pound weight difference, almost a 100-pound weight difference. It's insane. Let's say he comes in at 200 pounds. It's still a 65-pound weight advantage, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Into that.
I don't know what's going to happen with a 135-pounder going up against a 200-pounder. I think it's not a real fight.
Mike Tyson isn't holding back on Jake Paul's latest bold claim about beating Gervonta "Tank" Davis. The former heavyweight champion, known for his brutal honesty as much as his devastating punches, blasted Paul after the YouTuber-turned-boxer suggested he could defeat one of the sport's most feared fighters. Tyson, who has shown both support and criticism toward Jake's boxing journey, made it clear that stepping into the ring with a pound-for-pound talent like Davis is no joke. He reminded Jake of the huge gap between internet stardom and true boxing greatness.
Been closer for January. However, there have been rumours of Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul in the past. I think with Gervonta Davis's kind of legal problems in the last month or so and rumours about his retirement, I don't think it's a massive shock that he is taking this Jake Paul fight if it is going to go ahead, purely for the reason that it's a lot of money for maybe not the most difficult job that he's going to have in his career. So it's a strange one, but yeah, it's just another kind of day in the sport, really, isn't it?
The highly anticipated matchup between Jake Paul and Gervonta "Tank" Davis is set for November 14th at the Casa Center in Miami, Florida. The fight was originally planned for Atlanta, but it was relocated after the Georgia Athletic and Entertainment Commission raised concerns about the significant weight difference between the two fighters.
Oh my days. Jake Paul versus Tank Davis. Is this real? This can't be real. Because he was talking about fighting Joshua, which is heavyweight. And now he's saying about fighting Tank. Nah, this can't be. It's Netflix as well. I need to go and do some checks and see if like the main pages have posted this. But Jake Paul's posted it. It says Friday, November 14th. It's in Atlanta, State Farm Arena. This is random, no?
Jake Paul steps into the fight with a record of 12 wins, including 7 by knockout, and just 1 loss. He has transformed his influencer fame into a legitimate boxing career, building his name through high-profile crossover bouts and lucrative business ventures.
People are like so fucking insecure. Kind of lost myself in the whole entertainment world, and so when I found boxing, it gave me that like routine, that discipline. I got to like take time for myself in these boxing camps, and every day for training I had to like meditate. And boxing gave me the ability to like reflect on myself and like realizing who I was and who I wanted to be, and that helped me mature. You get addicted to that validation from others, and that's something that I realized that I had to face. And like, why do so many people want clout? I'm not good enough, I need followers, I need likes. It's driving a lot of our generation because they're working so hard to get this external validation.
Gervonta "Tank" Davis remains undefeated with 30 victories, 1 draw, and numerous knockouts. He currently holds the WBA lightweight title, but that belt will not be at stake in this matchup due to the significant size difference between the fighters. The bout is officially being promoted as an exhibition, meaning many of the usual rules of a professional fight, such as round structure, weight limits, and regulatory restrictions, are more flexible and subject to negotiation depending on which commission sanctions the event.
25 is at the next year. I'm out of it.
After our second fight. You're out of it?
Yeah.
Care to elaborate on that?
Out of the sport.
After our second fight. Nah, no, I'm gonna win, bro.
Nah, I could tell you my fights.
Who do you think will win between Jake Paul and Gervonta?
But I don't know. It should be Gervonta, right? But the weight size and everything, we'll see. It's a fun entertainment.
Mike Tyson, who has already shared the ring with Jake Paul, has reportedly urged caution as Paul prepares for his clash with Gervonta Davis. Tyson knows the pressure and intensity of fighting Paul, but he also understands the serious danger of stepping in against a fighter as explosive and skilled as Davis. While Paul may hold advantages in size and youth, Tyson warns that Davis's speed, technical mastery, and knockout power make him a threat regardless of the weight gap. His warning suggests that Paul could be underestimating the danger Davis brings. For Tyson, the fight may deliver massive spectacle, but he emphasizes that Jake must balance his legacy against the very real physical risks.
I think Gervonta Davis is probably the greatest fighter around now, but he's got a tough fight coming up. You know, he's the top dog, there's no doubt about it. He showed that, but Barrios, he's a pretty good fighter. Last time I saw him fight, he was pretty durable.
Eddie Hearn has voiced serious concerns about Jake Paul's fight with Gervonta Davis, stressing that it's more than just a flashy spectacle. He warns the matchup could be dangerously uneven in terms of size, risk, and safety, raising the possibility that Paul might leave the ring physically damaged. While acknowledging the huge financial incentives and global interest in the bout, Hearn believes the mismatch could derail Paul's career plans, including a potential showdown with Anthony Joshua. He admits the commercial appeal is massive, but cautions that the danger is just as real. Although he rates the fight as a 50-50th contest, his underlying message is clear: Jake Paul risks far more than his record. His health and well-being are truly on the line.
We know that Gervonta is going to fight Jake Paul in November, and then we'll see what happens if there's an AJ fight. Be interested to go from Gervonta Davis to Anthony Joshua, but I don't think the Chavez fight is terrible. I think it's a smart bit of business.
I think it's extremely dangerous for Jake Paul. You know, I've got the general feedback is the boxing world saying, please AJ, go in and evaporate this young man from the boxing world so we can all get on as normal. You've got Jake Paul fans thinking bizarrely they can beat Anthony Joshua. And the most bizarre thing out of everything is that Jake Paul genuinely believes he will beat Anthony Joshua. I think that's the only reason we're going to see this fight, but I truly believe you're going to see it at the beginning of 2026.
Carl Froch, the former super middleweight world champion, has raised major safety concerns about the upcoming Jake Paul vs Gervonta Davis exhibition. He points to the massive weight gap between the two fighters, estimated at around 65 pounds. Froch highlights that Jake Paul has recently fought close to the cruiserweight limit of 200 pounds, while Davis normally competes at lightweight, around 135 pounds.
I mean, I don't really take Jake Paul that serious. He can't really box. He can have a little fight, he can have a swing. He swings away, stands up straight, and he throws punches, but it's not professional boxing. Because when I watch him box, he does so much wrong. It's just, everything's wrong. It's so bad. He's got leaky defence. He telegraphs his punches. Like, you put him in with someone his own size, it was a professional, and it's a mismatch. And you'll see that if he ends up fighting somebody. Tommy Fury, bless him, he's a pro boxer, but he's inexperienced. He's got no amateur pedigree. He's a raw novice, or maybe just above the raw novice. I was saying earlier, where would I put him in terms of levels? He'd do well to win a British title. He's at that sort of level, and then from British title to world level, it's like different worlds. It's like totally different. It's like a different sport.
Froch argued that in a true professional boxing setting, this fight would never be licensed because the risks are far too great. He emphasized that Davis has never faced punches from someone with Jake Paul's size and mass, warning that even a single heavy shot, especially a wild swing or a hip-driven punch, could cause serious damage.
My name was mentioned at his press conference and he shit himself, and the fight was just absolutely fucking diabolical. Again, I've said before, he's not a professional boxer, he never will be, and he proves time and time again that he's not a professional fighter. So, Jake Paul, go on, piss off.
While Froch acknowledges that Davis has the technical skill, movement, and pacing to control stretches of the fight, he doubts that Davis carries enough power to seriously hurt Paul. In Froch's view, it's the unnatural weight advantage on Paul's side that makes this matchup truly dangerous.
Just here at Los Naranjos in Viva, España, and I found out that Gervonta Davis is now fighting Jake Paul. So Jake Paul was supposed to be fighting AJ. Eddie Hearn announced 99% done, which we've just spoke about. What next for AJ? Potentially Jake Paul. But it now looks like that Jake Paul is fighting one of Anthony Joshua's legs. He's fighting Gervonta Davis, somebody who's a quarter of his size. I don't even know what's going on. Has Eddie Hearn been played? Let me know what you think. But the AJ fight with Jake Paul's finished. Gervonta Davis,
fake Paul, November. I don't know what's going on in the world of boxing. This is an absolute joke. What next for AJ? We'll get into this, and there's so many questions I want to get into in the next episode, but hope you enjoyed this one. And yeah, just thought I'd give you a quick update because the news has just come in and I'm just trying to relax and play a bit of golf, and I can't. I've got to get it off my chest. I'm going to add it to this video. Hope you enjoy it. Don't forget, if you haven't already, hit like, share and subscribe to the best channel in the business, Frotch on Fighting, and we'll see you very soon.
Meanwhile, unlike many critics, Chael Sonnen doesn't believe the matchup is as one-sided as people think. On his YouTube channel, he explained, "It's not as bad a fight as you guys assume," drawing a clear distinction from the previously rumored Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua clash. However, Sonnen did highlight one major issue: Davis doesn't know how to sell a fight. He argued that Tank struggles to promote or generate hype, whether it's a title bout or a main event, making the matchup less compelling from a marketing perspective.
The exact opposite has happened. The opposite of fighting Anthony Joshua is not fighting nobody. The opposite of fighting Anthony Joshua is fighting Tank Davis. Okay, so there's one big glaring issue for me. It's just your partner being Tank Davis. Tank is not the guy that knows how to sell a fight. Tank cannot sell a fight in his own division. It could be a title fight, a contenders fight, a main event fight. He could be the favorite, he could be the underdog. Tank doesn't know how to bring that information to you guys in a way that is compelling. And Tank is already blinking in this situation. You have one guy who is argued amongst the pound for pound current greats in boxing. You have another guy that has suggested he should not even be allowed to box, that he should have to call it something different. He should not be licensed. He should not be ranked in the top 14. He should never be selected for a world title. Okay.
Joe Rogan has consistently defended Jake Paul's credibility in the ring, arguing that most criticism comes from his celebrity background rather than his actual boxing ability. Rogan points out that Paul has shown clean technique, real power, and effective offense in his performances, with nothing appearing staged or fundamentally flawed. In his view, even Paul's early detractors are slowly beginning to recognize his legitimacy as a professional boxer.
If Jake Paul wasn't Jake Paul, if he wasn't this YouTube guy, he was just a boxer, and you see a boxer knock out the former UFC welterweight champion, not just the former, but one of the best ever, knock him out with one punch like that, you'd be like, oh man, have you seen this Jake Paul dude coming up? He's fucking for real. Because nothing about watching him fight, to me, screams like he's in over his head. Nothing. He looks like a real boxer.
Critics argue that Jake Paul's recent actions, including his controversial victory over 58-year-old Mike Tyson, highlight a troubling pattern in his boxing career. Many see his decision to fight an aging legend as more of a spectacle than a legitimate challenge, raising doubts about his true commitment to the sport. Notable figures such as Carl Froch have dismissed Paul's performance, claiming it lacked genuine boxing skill and suggesting that his success is driven more by entertainment value than athletic merit.
Jake Paul, you've lost your mind if you think you can go toe-to-toe with Anthony Joshua. Listen, let's not get confused, guys. Let's not get confused. Yes, cool. Anthony took a big L with Daniel Dubois, but Daniel Dubois is not no joke, bro. He's not a joke. You know what I'm trying to say? He took a L there, but Jake Paul, I got the utmost respect of what he's done, how he's managed to navigate through the boxing world. Like, bro, it's so mad. And I can see this is like a 90%. It's happening, it's positioning, it's marketing already. Like, why would you see Jake Paul go face to face with Alexander Usyk if it's not to position for a fight for Saudi? Obviously, Jake Paul's gonna fight Anthony Joshua. There's possibly gonna be a Usyk against Tyson Fury 3, because obviously the last two were so close. But you never know. It can also be a Usyk against Derek Chisora. Do you know what I mean? You never know.
there is growing buzz that Jake Paul could face Anthony Joshua in a blockbuster showdown as early as 2026. Paul's manager, Nikisa Bidarian, has confirmed that discussions are underway, with massive venues like Wembley Stadium being considered. Paul himself has repeatedly called out Joshua, boldly claiming he has the confidence to pull off a stunning upset.
Everyone's been wanting to see happen. Who will be the king of the United Kingdom? And who will be the queen of the United... Too soon? I'm praying that boxing doesn't happen to this fight, and what I mean by that is politics. People trying to take more money than they deserve. Fuck the money, get in there, make fucking history. This is one of the biggest fights that could happen over this past decade. Make it fucking happen, Eddie Hearn. Make it fucking happen, Frank Warren. Make it happen, Tyson. Make it happen, Anthony Joshua. We don't need fucking excuses. Don't let boxing ruin this fight. Get in the fucking ring and fight like men.
Joshua's promoter, Eddie Hearn, has shown interest in the matchup, noting that it could generate enormous attention and financial reward. Critics, however, caution that Joshua risks damaging his legacy by fighting Paul, who many still regard as more of an entertainer than a true contender. In the meantime, Paul is capitalizing on the rumors, using them to build momentum and further position himself as an unpredictable wild card in the heavyweight division.
Let's talk about AJ ever so quickly. I watched Jake Paul the weekend. I feel a bit dirty saying that because I'm not a fan of his, but he did say after the fight that he's sort of having DMs or he's dropping text messages to AJ. They're having a chat about a potential fight. What's your view on that, Eddie?
Well, look, he's calling out Gervonta Davis, who is a 135-pound lightweight, and he's calling out Anthony Joshua, that's a heavyweight monster. I think Jake Paul is crazy enough to fight Anthony Joshua because the money would be absolutely obscene. It's a catastrophic mismatch that people would tune in to watch because it would lead to the end of Jake Paul. Hopefully not literally, but it's that dangerous that, you know, it's a fight that I don't think should really happen, if I'm honest. I would say about Jake Paul, and I've said this in a couple of interviews today, I do think you start after giving him a margin of respect. You know, I think this guy is going through the motions, he's putting the hard spars in. He just went 10 rounds with, yes, a washed up fighter, but a former world champion that did train for that fight. But they're very clever in terms of the opponents that they pick. They're not going to gamble unless the money's out of control. And it wouldn't surprise me if Jake Paul, wanted to move forward with an Anthony Joshua fight. Honestly, AJ's coming tonight. He's not exactly looking at Jake Paul going, oh, that's my dream opponent. Would he go in there and give him a hiding for, you know, a massive chunk of money? Probably. I'd be saying, yeah, go on. I'd like to see it.
Stephen A. Smith has repeatedly criticized Jake Paul's choice of opponents, arguing that most were either past their prime or not elite, active boxers. In his view, Paul has yet to prove himself against the true top tier of the sport. Paul, however, has countered by insisting that he tried to secure a fight with Tommy Fury, claiming Fury initially turned down his offers. When the fight finally happened in February 2023, it became one of the few times Paul faced a prime professional boxer. Paul lost that bout by split decision, marking his first, and so far only, defeat against an active, well-established fighter.
You are beating up on dudes who don't box. They're not boxers.
I was on Disney Channel while these guys were winning UFC championships.
Okay.
You know, I was playing with Mickey Mouse while these guys were throwing arm bars and winning UFC championships. Everyone's, analyzing my career, critiquing it, paying attention to it from day one, but you can't tell me who was Mike Tyson's first fight. You can't tell me who Muhammad Ali, who was his fourth fight. No one knows, but everyone's seen all of my fights. I tried to fight Tommy Fury. Yeah, I tried to fight Tommy Fury, and he backed out due to a rib injury. Undefeated, young prospect. He comes from the Fury family. His brother's the heavyweight champion of the world. I tried to fight him, and he got scared.
Stephen A. Smith has openly criticized Jake Paul for choosing to fight boxing legend Mike Tyson. Smith argues that if Paul truly wants to be taken seriously as a boxer, he should face opponents closer to his own age and skill level, rather than targeting seasoned veterans with far more experience.
I can't buy the hype at this particular moment in time. Now, I'll give Jake Paul credit for this. At least he's in the ring with a boxer. But 57 years old is 57 years old. And 57 years old and formally walking into a UFC fight as an audience member, as a patron with a cane, it's hard to me believe a year later that you're going to be in any condition to really, really fight. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't know. And if you're Jake Paul, here's what I want to say to you. It's Mike Tyson, that's fine. It's a money fight, I get you, and you want to make money. But at some point in time, if you keep telling us that you're taking boxing seriously and you want to be recognized as a big-time boxer / fighter, you're gonna have to fight somebody closer to your age, who is a contender at the very least in the sport, and who lives with it every single day. Could you please get in the ring with somebody? Pretty please with sugar on top. I'm interested.
What did you think about the fight, Jake Paul?
I hate it. And Jake Paul's starting to piss me off. Mike Tyson is 57 years old, man. Jake Paul been training with professional boxing trainers for years. He takes the sport very seriously.
Thank you. So let me ask you, that's the question I have, because great kid, great businessman, by the way, amazing. And I know how he does all this character and the persona. We keep saying that he doesn't want to be a boxer. He's not a boxer, but then
Jake Paul is a boxer.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my point.
Exactly. He's a boxer.
He can fight. I respect it. So go in there against fighters. You should be climbing the ladder towards those other fighters and taking the sport seriously to the point where you're fighting actual boxers. Now he decides to fight a fighter, a real fighter, which is Tyson. But Tyson is 30 years older. Stop this nonsense of going against dudes that either ain't boxing or is 25 years removed from the sport.